Saludos and salutations, Broncos Country, and welcome back into another exciting episode of Broncos Talk. Ladies and gentlemen, I am so excited to be with you guys here today, and so is Libre, because the title of today's show is Camping with Bronco Libre. For those of you that don't know, Bronco Libre had the amazing chance and opportunity to go to training camp. Since the initial start, Bronco Libre has been there, and he cannot wait to come and tell you guys and me. I haven't even asked him yet. That's how excited I am. So I'm going to find out, just like you, everything that Bronco Libre has experienced. And we're also going to talk about everything that has happened in Broncos training camp so far. So, ladies and gentlemen, please make sure your food is cold. That your food shouldn't be cold. If it's cold, that means it's been sitting there for too long. What I meant to say was, I hope that your beer is cold, your food is warm, and that you are very comfortable. And I cannot believe I messed that up. But anyways, get yourself ready, because you don't want to miss a single moment of today's action. So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, get ready, because here we go.
Broncos talk, let's rock, feel the energy rise. From the microphone to the fans reaching the skies. Every episode a thrill and surprise. For the love of the game, we harmonize.
And welcome back in, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Adan Diaz, and joining me to my left or right, depending on which direction you're watching, is my co-host, the man, the myth, the legend, El Terrible Bronco Libre.
What's happening? Let's go.
Do they call you Terrible because it rhymes with Libre?
No. They call me Increíble.
Increíble Bronco Libre?
Increíble. Not
Doesn't
terrible.
Terrible sound better, though?
If you're going to be a heel, yes. For those of you that don't know what WWE is, when we say a heel, that means the bad guy,
El malo.
el malo. Pero cuando tiene un cara de bebé, el baby face, you're the good guy.
Has anybody ever come up to you and asked you, like, hey, are you a good or like a good or bad?
No, I've never actually had anybody actually say, "Hey, are you a good guy or a bad guy?" But they do ask me, "Do you actually wrestle?" And at first, like I'll play along. I go, "Oh yeah, I have a championship belt," and like I pull out my the belt that I had custom made for me and so forth. I go, "Yeah, I won this, and it's been custom made for me and all that." It's just crazy because some of the people are so gullible that they believe that. I'm like, how can you guys really think that this is something that really is going on when you see a main, like, I'm with the Broncos, like main, like set up for the Broncos, and you think that I'm actually going to be doing that with the in Lucha Libre or just like whatever? Like, it doesn't. I don't see how people correlate the both of them just because I have the mask on.
Exactly. But ladies and gentlemen, Libre and I cannot wait. Or actually, let me rephrase that. I cannot wait to ask Libre about everything that he's experienced at training camp so far, and we will get to that. But as you guys know, there's a couple of things we got to get out of the way and done first, like we do at the start of every single episode here. So please, just so you know, if this is your first time here, welcome. And if not, welcome back. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, Libre and I would like to ask you to please show your support for us here on the Orange and Blue Network. Subscribe, share, comment, and like on this show. In case you cannot catch us live when this airs, that's okay. If there's something that we didn't get to answer, or a question or a comment or anything that's on your mind, please let it be known on the video that you're watching on the Orange and Blue Network, as well as check out the rest of the content that we have on the Orange and Blue Network once you're all caught up with all of the Broncos Talk episodes. Also, ladies and gentlemen, please keep in mind that this is a simulcast show, which means that we're also broadcasting live on the MHRT network at the same time. So please subscribe, share, comment, and like on their channel as well. And the same thing we ask, if there's something that we missed, a comment or anything that's on your mind you want to ask us and you couldn't ask us live on the show, no problem. Leave your comments down there, and Libre and I will get back to you as soon as we can. Also, just to let you guys know that we are now powered by the Broncos World Order, ladies and gentlemen. So when you scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll down, up, or down timeline, you would see or find that we've almost got everything in the whole world Denver Broncos. Ladies and gentlemen, they are the biggest Denver Broncos group on Facebook. So we are so excited to be able to be partnered up with them and to have them bring their power, their energy, their excitement here on Broncos Talk and spread out through the entire of the networks. So shout out to them for continuously being here with us and for their continued support here on the show. Also, ladies and gentlemen, for any business inquiries, you can email at broncostalk2020@gmail.com. Audio listeners, wherever your platform you're listening us to, 5-star reviews are always appreciated. You can screenshot and send it to our socials. You can see it there at the bottom, our Twitter handles. Mine is at a 6'10" Mexican. Bronco Libre is at Bronco Libre 5280. 5280. That's the altitude in Mile High, in case nobody knew, because sometimes we get asked that question. And you'd be surprised, Libre. Also, like to give a shout out to the sponsor of this and all the shows here on the Orange and Blue Network, Dubby. You guys have heard us talk about it once, twice, many, many times, and probably more for the upcoming future. So the great thing about Dubby is it has all the good stuff without all the bad. On your screen right now, if you have the ability to see, you have all the amazing flavors that Dubby comes in. And to give you guys a little bit more detail for those that do not know about Dubby, basically, it was formulated to give you focus and energy with no jitters or crash. The formula contains vitamins, amino acids, and nootropics, including the patented neurofactor formula. Basically, it contains no calories, no sugar, no maltodextrin, no fillers, and no artificial colors. Ladies and gentlemen, just to show you how awesome Johnny Baki and the guys over at the Nothing Wrong with Orange and Blue podcast, which airs every single Tuesday here on the MHRT and Orange and Blue networks, is he wants to give you guys 10% off when you guys go to your final checkout after you've picked out all your favorite Dubby flavors and products. When you use the code NRWOB10, you'll get 10% off at checkout. Again, that code is NRWOB10. You get your 10% off at checkout. Shout out to Dubby and the guys over at the Nothing to Rise With for hooking us up with that awesome 10% discount. Also, ladies and gentlemen, before we get started with today's show, I want to let you guys know our show schedule for the year. So, all times in Mountain Time, of course. Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 11, we have the Orange and Blue Blitz with Isaiah, the Broncos gentleman, always bringing you guys all the up-to-date news in Broncos country. Then on Mondays, we have the Broncos Bros. Airs at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue is the flagship show here on the Orange and Blue Network. It airs Tuesdays at 6 p.m. Broncos Talk, which you're currently watching, airs at 6 p.m. And then on Fridays, we have the Viva Los Broncos. I know we do apologize. We weren't able to be on the air last week. We had some difficulties that we could not overcome, unfortunately, but we will be back this Friday. And of course, as you all know, it is an all Spanish-led podcast with Libre and myself. For the Fresh Squeeze is always there for you guys for all the breaking news that happened in Broncos country. And of course, before every single game day, 1 hour before kickoff, we have the Get Bucked pregame show where we get to see the good side of Johnny. And then after the game, if the Broncos lose, then we get to see the bad side of Johnny because it's the Buck Your Feelings postgame show. And we air every single game day right after the game ends. And trust me, ladies and gentlemen, when Johnny Baki gets mad, there's no lazy boy that is safe. So also shout out to our TikTok audience out there. Thank you guys so much for being here with us. If you guys have any comments or questions, whatever you guys want to add, please feel free. I know the angle you're watching me on is a little bit weird because you could probably see up my nose. So I do apologize, but it's the only angle I have. Libre, I can't hear you. So you're probably having mic issues.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
It's because you have mocos. So if you're watching on the tickety tockety, don't watch it too much on the when you're looking at him because he got mocos. So don't look at it. He's a mocoso. That's what his mom calls him.
And already we have some people here in the chat. We have the Mile High City Baby 303 saying they wouldn't let me buy more than one ticket. I'm guessing he's talking about the tickets for the training camp, correct, Libre?
No, because you can't purchase tickets to training camp. Tickets are free.
Oh, so you'll have to elaborate for us, Mile High City. He says the Broncos family cookout for Broncos fans and Broncos gang members at Cherry Park in Thornton on August 9th. Oh, he must be talking about that.
Buying tickets, no, because that's with the Mad Fanatic. So that's what he's referring to that itself. So not sure exactly what he's meaning by the tickets itself, but yeah, he's just trying to announce that the big cookout because Andrew's coming from Mass, where he lives at here to Colorado. So, and again, you have to remember August 9th is our very first preseason game against the 49ers. So what the Andrew and the Broncos gang is trying to do is get everyone together, have a good cookout. It's like a potluck style. And it's going to be at a park, and then it's going to be in the afternoon. So like from 3 to 6 or something like that. And then at 6 o'clock, then they're going to go ahead and start the game and have the game on in the park so everyone can chill out, hang out, and all that. So yeah, need to talk to Andrew, see what if he wants me to attend or not, and see what we can do.
Of course. Your cousin Juan Marquez saying, "What's up, Broncos Country? As regards to camp, it seems like the linebacker room is taking most injuries, and court will be in session for 4 more years. Great move, in my opinion." And Shai Vargas saying, "Go Broncos."
Let's go.
Libre, if it's okay, I'd like to open with that statement. And then, of course, feel free to add your stories about what you've seen in training camp as well. But I haven't been able to keep up with every single thing because, unfortunately, I don't think that they're posting everything in terms of, Broncos media. So I kind of have to try to go outside and get, footage from fans that were there through TikTok and other social venues and try to formulate my own opinions from there. But I will say that the linebacker room, Alex Singleton, is what I'm guessing he's referring to, Libre.
Okay.
And that it's a hand injury, and this is probably the one thing we were really hoping would avoid Alex Singleton, because it's already bad enough that a lot of people are kind of on the fence with him coming back. We got a lot of feedback from fans that were saying like they would have kept Barton over bringing Singleton back. So it is a pretty big setback. I hope it's nothing serious. I haven't read anything that was saying that he was going to potentially
So
miss.
I have an update on it.
Yeah, go ahead.
He broke his thumb during practice, and that's what took him out. So he's actually had surgery on his thumb already. It was a successful surgery, of course. So he should only be out, it said, about 4 weeks. So it's not that long of an injury. So hopefully this doesn't hurt him trying to do like getting tackles, because you don't know if he's going to actually put a club on his hand where his whole hand is in a taped up and whatnot. So hopefully it's not going to be something big. One thing that I would have to say from training camp when I was there is that I was surprised that he didn't have a knee brace on or some type of sleeve on his reconstructed knee. That was something real surprising to me. Unless he was already feeling comfortable and so forth, it feels like that's what he is. He's already comfortable with his knee and all that, and he doesn't need it, which is phenomenal and awesome, because that just means that his confidence with it is already there. While I was there watching him practice, he was flying. He was flying around as he had no hesitation, no not hesitating with anything, with all the plays, with the motions that they were going through, because of course they weren't hitting and tackling as of yet on Friday or Saturday when I was there, but he looked good.
Yeah, well, I hope he comes back. I'm to be honest with you, even if he didn't hurt his thumb and he didn't go through this whole procedure, I really don't think that we were going to see a lot of him in preseason. Uh, Again, he is coming off of a knee injury, of course, so it's a double-edged sword. Uh, it'll be interesting to see how he shows up week 1. I do have like a sneaky suspicious feeling that we maybe might see something out of him like week 3 of the preseason, just to kind of get him used to wearing the pads and getting hit again. Okay. Because being out a year in football is a really long time. And there is so much rust that you have to work out of your system to kind of get yourself acclimated and your body used to getting back in the game. So I really do hope it's nothing serious. I do hope he comes back bigger and better than ever. With that being said, Libre, let's talk about the Courtland Sutton signing. And I've had this discussion with somebody, and we got kind of combative, let's just say, just for the simple fact that we kind of stood on two different sides, apparently. Me, I love that he got a signing. I really do. The man deserves it. That's not a question. I do have my worries, though, because for the catches that he should be able to make with his eyes closed, that we seen last year, he couldn't make them. When it's the catches that, he's upside down or one hand with two toes and like these Superman types of catches he seems to make unbelievably, fantastic. And those are the catches that won him that respect, rightfully so. So with the Broncos giving him that much money for 4 years, they're really committed to him being the closest to the number one wide receiver that they can get. So to me, it kind of eliminates the fact that they go 4-0 by the end of September, like I stated in a previous episode, where the Broncos would be able to go and chase a better, younger wide receiver, let's say. I'm not saying that they can't. I'm just saying that the chances of them doing it because of cap space and stuff is a little bit different now, because now all their money is tied into Sutton. So it's not like the first time when Sutton came on and he got signed and then Tim Patrick got signed. Because could you imagine the dilemma we would have had right now if Tim Patrick would have never left? And then you had to choose to pay between, if they only had enough money, that much money anyway, to pay either Sutton or Tim Patrick. That would be a whole different debacle, Libre. But for me, I really do hope that Courtland Sutton plays to the very best of his effort and he fixes all those errors. Because if we see another season like that, where simple catches that he should be able to make and he just drops them, Libre, this contract and that number is going to come back and haunt us after every single possible loss.
Going to the beginning, like you, I actually love this signing. That means that that Sean Payton also loves Courtland Sutton in there. It's part of that security blanket. I feel that he has already been given for Bo. And you have to think about this as well, because over the last couple of years, he's been the subject of trade talks from the beginning of the seasons and so forth. He has always come up in trades. I'm pretty sure there's probably been teams that have been reached out to the Broncos and said, "Hey, what do you want for Sutton? We want Sutton. What do you want for him?" And this right here just solidifies that, yes, he is our number one receiver in the current wide receiver group right now. Giving him the money. And what I love about it too is that he also did not want to go for the highest price wide receiver as well, being the highest paid wide receiver. He took, I feel like he did take a hometown discount as well. Mm-hmm. So with the signing, with the 4 years, the $92 million, that works, I think, in both of our favors, for him and for the Broncos. He got his bag. We got our player that we believe in him. Sean Payton does, because if Sean didn't believe in him, he wouldn't be here. He wouldn't have this signed already and done. I'm just glad that they got it done before the season even started. and now he doesn't have to worry about it. But one thing that I do have to give Sutton credit for is, guess what? He was there at the beginning of the practices. When practices started, he was in the building. He was ready to go. He was on the field, and that just shows you his character that he has, and he knows what this team is ready and what they're going to be doing this upcoming year. So that just speaks volumes. Like, you don't have to say anything, but just his presence there, him dressing up, getting out there before this was done, just speaks volumes. Look at what happened with the Washington. Terry wasn't out there. He wasn't out there. He was holding out. He finally is now. He's there. But guess what? You just missed several days of that much needed time together of that practices, instilling all of these plays that they're ready to go before the season. You missed out. Like, that's going to be on you. Hopefully it's not a big deal for them, but it's going to be a big deal when it's later on in the season, like when they're playing the Broncos, then they're not going to show up. That's all I'm going to say. But I'm excited for it. Cortland is so excited. I think I just I have the video that he actually did. I'm going to be posting it later on tonight on my TikTok as well, about after he signed. He's excited. He's ready for it. He can't wait. He knows that this team is very special, and that's why he signed. And I'm glad for it. I'm super happy. And the leadership that he has for this wide receiver group is going above and beyond any other team I think is going to have when it comes down to the younger players on their teams.
Well, as you can tell, Libre, the title of today's show is Camping with Bronco Libre. Shout out to the boss, Baki, for thinking of that awesome title. So basically, John, I was going to call you Johnny. So basically, Bronco Libre, we want to feel and find out what it was like for you since day one of training camp all the way to now. Tell us, what's the feeling around Broncos country? Have you talked to anybody famous besides yourself?
Well, no, because I look in the mirror every morning and talk to myself and say, you know what, Bronco Libre, what's your thoughts? No, I'm just kidding. I was able to talk to some former players like Ryan Harris, Cody Latimer was at training camp. Cabri Bibbs was there, David Bruton. So those are guys that were there on Saturday, and I was able just to talk to them like real quick because they're signing autographs for some of the fans. I got some as well. And they're also super excited as well. They have the same expectations, I guess, as fans that we do, that they have those same expectations that the Broncos are going to be a special team this year. And you got to remember, those guys won Super Bowl 50. Ryan Harris, David Bruton, and Cody Latimer. Those guys actually were on a Super Bowl team, and they say that this team here is special and can go out and actually go out and get to the Super Bowl this year. And I was just telling him too, I go, how ironic is that history repeats itself. And guess what? 10 years later, where's the Super Bowl this year? In Santa Clara, how it was in Super Bowl 50. It's just like the stars are aligning for the Broncos just at the right time. And if we can just manifest that and just keep on saying it all year long, I feel that this Denver Bronco team can be there in Santa Clara going for that championship. And you have to think that there's these former players that also think that as well, which is super exciting. That just excites me even more because you have former players that are saying the exact same thing that some of us are already saying as well. And then just speaking with the fans that were there at practice as well, and what they are saying, like just the additions to Evan Ingram, getting J.K. Dobbins, through the free agency itself. And then picking up with our rookies, with Barron, with RJ Harvey, like we just solidified our whole team, and that's just so much better. And a lot of teams can't say that they made their teams better during this offseason. And it's already in the national media that they already saying that this team is already there. Like this Bronco team is there, and some of them have them actually going into the Super Bowl as well.
Shai Vargas here saying they said Bo Nix looks faster and quicker. Libre, is that true?
It is true. And not only that, is that his decision making is so much better as well. And it's because of him. I think a lot of it has to do with his time with Drew Brees. Sean Payton came out and said that he reached out to Drew, and he spent like 4 or 5 days with Drew, just picking his brain. Like, what was this? Like, what did you do in scenarios like this? Because you have to remember, Drew Brees was there with Sean Payton with the Saints, and he knows how Sean Payton likes to run an offense, how to run practices, how to run or set up a game plan or whatnot. So just being able to get that insight from a quarterback that has already been there and done that, and you have to remember, they won a Super Bowl together. So that right there alone just makes me even more excited, because Bo Nix is the player that he's not a yes sir type of guy. He's asking questions. Why are we doing this? Why are we doing that? Why did you call that play? I want to understand the whys of what you're doing. And that right there makes him a better quarterback. I was talking to one of my other buddies on another podcast yesterday, and we were talking about those whys and about what is making him better. And it's because he's going out there and looking for it. It's not waiting for it. He's not waiting for it to come to him. He's going out there and seeking that information. So that right there is a leadership, is going to make him one of the best quarterbacks in the league. And we're talking about possibly breaking Peyton Manning's records and so forth. And that's very possible with the team that we currently have.
How is the crowd out there, Libre? Do you feel like there's more people, more fans out right now at this year's training camp as years before, or do you feel that it's the same crowd and same vibe and same energy?
Honestly, that's the biggest disappointment right now, is that it's not the same. Especially for being day one, last Friday, it was pretty sad, pretty weak. The crowd wasn't into it and so forth, but it's also different. It's because of the setup that they have right now. They only allowed 800 people to get into the practice facility. Before, in previous years, there was like thousands. There was one practice, I remember the very first practice, that was didn't have any ticketing system or anything like that. There was over 7,000 people at the training facility. And yes, that was crowded. That was crazy. But it's only because of the way the training facility was set up. Now the hill that everyone knows about training camp, that hill is now gone. So they're doing construction right now and making a better training facility there for the players and everyone else. So once it is completed, it should hold more people to enjoy practice, but it's also going to be giving more of a entertainment vibe with different stuff to be able to do there. But right now, because it's still under construction, they put up some temporary seatings, or bleachers, I should say. And with those bleacher seats itself, it only holds about 800 fans. Once you get in there and actually are sitting in the seats, it is pretty packed and it feels that way. But once you're up and about and you're trying to do little things here and there, it's not that packed, and it's pretty sad. I'm gonna say it is right now. It's pretty sad because I don't know whether the fans were there just to say, all right, we're here. And not excited to actually see the Broncos, because they didn't cheer when the Broncos actually came out of the building onto the field to start stretching and so forth. Some of the Bronco players and the thing is, the way that it's set up is like they have to come to us on the south side of the training facility. So there's the 3 rookies that came up. It was Q Robinson. I can't remember the other one. He wears number 75, Williams, I think it is. He's the one that was like really throwing up the energy. He had a bottle of water. He dumps it on his head, trying to get the excitement, which is nice. As I had one of my friends while we were there at training camp, you could see me. I'm the only one standing up, like cheering and all that, and seeing the guys come up to the stands. So, but with the stands itself, I think it's just, when it comes down to the first year of when the stadium opened, when the whole first level was like more of a corporate type of feel, it's more of that way. It was like a real quiet camp. It wasn't real loud.
You know what, Libre, if you don't mind, I have to excuse myself for a few minutes. Do you mind just kind of taking over just for a little bit?
Yeah, go ahead.
And I'll be right back. Sorry.
Not a problem. So yeah, just going back to that itself, it's like it's really sad to see that this year. But again, I feel that because of the situation with the construction that's happening, and they had to limit it, the amount of people there, they're doing what they can do. I was talking to one of my buddies that was out there. He works with the Broncos guest relations. He's a manager of the guest relations part of it itself. And I was talking to him, and I was saying, you know what, though, I feel like the Broncos missed a great opportunity to hold a practice at Mile High. I was telling them about it it was like 10, 12 years ago. They used to hold one practice at Mile High Stadium, which was awesome, phenomenal. I wish that they would gone to it. But he was talking about it is that at that time, they didn't have a lot of concerts as well during the concert stadiums with the concerts itself. So when over the last 5 years, the Broncos have actually had a lot of concerts in the stadium itself. So they have this plastic all over. So it's a hard plastic all over the stadium floor right now on the field itself. So there's no grass. And then he's saying, yeah, in order for us to actually hold a practice here, we have to then put a new sod out there, a whole new field. But then we also have to let it sit there for a minute so that the roots of the grass can actually grip and hold into the actual ground. And I was like, at that point, I didn't actually think about that. I didn't really say, oh man, they missed an opportunity. They could have done it, not thinking about the logistics of it. But after he said that, I was like, you know what? That sounds about right, because it doesn't give enough time to do it and whatnot. So I'm actually I was mad at first saying that the Broncos missed it. But at this point, I was like, you know what? It's going to be okay. The Broncos, they did what they could, but the fans themselves is they just need to get there a little bit more. Let me see here. Let me go. So yeah, I'm just excited just for that part of it itself. With the because I'm actually going to be there with the next practice that I'm going to be there is going to be with the joint practice with the Arizona Cardinals. So that's going to be a little bit more fun, being able to see them play. They're going to actually have more plays that they're going to be doing on 7-on-7 or just a full team practice against another team, which is going to be awesome. They are going to do it against the 49ers, but that's going to be of course, in San Francisco itself. Let me get to a comment here real quick. Did that one. Let's see. Here we go. Shy, what do you think? The Broncos will go to the Super Bowl this year? Yeah, like I was saying earlier, Shy, absolutely. I feel that the Broncos this year have a team. They have the players that are actually going to be in here to actually go out there and compete for that Super Bowl. They're going to be in there hitting it hard. I feel like Sean Payton has this group focused. I don't know if you saw the comments with Evan Ingram. He what he's here with. He is ready for the upcoming season. And of course, he's come to a team that he's going to want to win a Super Bowl. And because of what he helps out with Bo Nix, it's going to be in there. And I can't wait for it itself.
Sorry about that, ladies and
no
gentlemen.
worries.
I'm back.
You're good.
Just jumping in. Do I think the Broncos will go to the Super Bowl this year? That's really hard to answer, Shai. And I'll tell you why. Because the hype for the Broncos is growing, we need to make sure that the hype doesn't exceed reality again. Okay. We made that mistake in 2022. Okay. When we had Nathaniel Hackett, when we had Russell Wilson, when we thought we were going to light the world on fire. Okay. Something lit on fire, but it wasn't the world. It was literally this team. So to have expectations about a Super Bowl is totally fair. I'm with you on that. But you have to remember that for the Broncos to go to the Super Bowl, they're going to have to face and try to beat the very best that the NFC has. And currently, that is the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, the Broncos are going to play the Eagles this year, week 4, if I'm not mistaken. Week 4.
No, not week 4. Week 4 is the Monday night with the Bengals here.
Okay, well, one of those days we're going to play the Eagles, and that's going to really be a testament to this question. If the Broncos can hang with the Eagles and keep it close, whether they win or lose, definitely. Definitely, because right now the Eagles are the team to beat and the team that you can probably safely put your money on to say that they will go to a Super Bowl. If the Broncos get steamrolled or they just cannot go up against a Vic Fangio defense, then we have a really big problem on our hands. Granted, the AFC does have really good teams to beat the Bills, the Ravens, and such, but the Broncos can easily beat those teams, or they can contend with those teams. Let me rephrase that. But to go to a Super Bowl, the stakes are high. And the one thing you really do not want to do to a guy like Bo Nix is get him to that level and lose. Because look what it did to Jalen Hurts. Luckily, Jalen Hurts was able to rebound and win his first Super Bowl title. Now, I really do hope I'm wrong with that. I really do hope the Broncos prove me wrong, that they're the best team in the, not just in the AFC, but in the NFL, and they go to a Super Bowl and win it all. And then that way, winning a Super Bowl will really make up for this drought that has haunted us for the last 9 effing years. Johnny won't let me swear, so I have to, that's the closest I can get. For the last 9 effing years, only the diehard fans like Libre and myself have clinged on to whatever little ray of hope we had left. I literally, there's a video I just saw. I'm going to send it to Libre on YouTube where this guy did like a documentary about how the Broncos went from, you know, being on top of the mountain in 2015 to literally sliding all the way down and are now on the verge of redemption and so expected and acclimated to be the team to beat, the team to scale the mountain and be back on top once again. So again, I'm really hoping that the Broncos make it that far, Shai Vargas. But just know that should the Broncos make it that far, get ready for 2 things to happen. Either the Broncos win and we all celebrate and Libre gets to go to another Super Bowl parade and I get jealous, or
You can join me.
or we're all going to be on for the next couple of months trying to find out who's to blame and whose heads are going to roll, basically, Libre.
No, I agree. But like this year, like what we've done so far for this upcoming year, the defense alone, just adding depth to this defense is phenomenal. You can't deny us having the most depth right now. And it's already been said. The Broncos have already come out and said, the players, they come out and said, you know what? I have never been on a team that's had this much depth. We're ready to roll. They're going to have so much fun. It's going to be hard to keep so many players as well on this team, but just know that the depth that we have on this team right now is unbelievable, and it's going to show coming up in the future here.
Mile High City Baby 303 says, move to Denver. You know what? If it wasn't for the fact that Bronco Libre already lives there, I don't think the city of Denver is big enough for both of our egos.
You know what? You're right about that, but guess what? We're in the Mile High City.
I don't even know how we're gonna do a podcast when I go visit Libre sometime this year. You know, I gotta get a really fancy car and find out what the fanciest hotel in Denver is, and you know, I gotta make an impression. Now I will try to rent the car that I had when I was there in October, that 2020, I think it was a 2026 Toyota hybrid Camry. Oh my God, Libre! I literally wanted to drive all the way back to Chicago. That thing was
You should have.
Go on the lam.
Hey, so a hotel where you can, if you're gonna treat me to a hotel stay, I'll go to the Brown Palace.
Brown Palace. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, it's downtown Denver.
Downtown. Well, I'll have to talk to my agent, and you know, my agent's gonna have to look into some pricings. But I will say that the airport near Denver International was really nice, and the fact that it was only 20 minutes to get back to the airport was fantastic. So I might be staying with them again. I'm going to see what their prices are, because if you've never flown into Denver International, that thing is like 3 or 4 football fields put together big. And the drive out of the airport is like, what would you say, Libre? Like 10 miles long?
Oh yeah, it's ridiculous. I know I just sent you, I think I sent you a TikTok video as well about Denver International Airport.
Yeah, you
and it
did.
is, yeah. And it just in the video itself, it just goes on and on. It's just showing like the video itself just shows like the runways and all that, but it just goes on. This is the biggest airport in the world, and it's not just in one in particular spot. It's like the biggest in one world and like one location. It's saying that it's bigger than Manhattan, like the area of Manhattan itself. Just think of it. If you think of Manhattan, how big that is, DIA is bigger than that. It talks about getting you from one location to another location that you have to use the tram system. It's like a whole city. Like it's literally a whole like little city to get to people from one place to another place and so forth. But you know what? It works and it's efficient and all that.
I know we're not in the overtime segment of the show, but I just want to throw out there, if I don't know who's in charge of putting the planes in the gates, but if I get sent to the farthest gate one more freaking time, I'm gonna lose my mind, because
that's the airline that you pick, bud.
I think you're right, because Jesus Christ, like last time I felt like I worked at the airport as much as I walked, man. And me and my nephew, we literally went to the very edge of the freaking airport where we saw nothing but I think there's like the mountain range or like the very edge of it. And your cousin here saying DIA is such a huge place. I'll be doing that again in November.
He's coming in November for the Raider game.
Oh, that's right.
Thursday night.
Well, don't fly Southwest, because if what Libre is saying is true, then that's more than likely the reason why Southwest got literally thrown to the very edge of DIA. But no, Libre, the camp, as from what I've seen, like the fans and stuff, and I know you came up in one of the pictures, and that was really cool, by the way.
No, that was actually cool. Because they had some of the media there, especially on day one. And one of the guys that he took my picture and then he took down my name and all that. And like in the next hour, they had already posted it on Twitter and all that with fans and all that, which I was like, dang, this is cool. And I sent it right away to our text group itself. I was like, oh, look at this. And then also the Broncos in Espanol, they did a little video of me when I was coming in on Saturday, when they had the band and the cheerleaders welcoming all the fans into the welcome back to football itself, which was really, actually, it was really cool, that part of it, that they're like, all right, we're now finally back, let's go. And if you want to go check out the Broncos Twitter account or X account, both the Broncos themselves and the Broncos in Espanol, they have me on there. I've actually, if you look on my TikTok itself, you'll see I have a couple of videos already of it as well. So it's pretty cool.
I cannot. Well, obviously, you guys have already seen the pictures of the 2 cheerleaders I met at the game last year for the Panthers game, and I feel bad that I had to chase them down. But I asked myself, when's the next time?
Came to me.
I asked myself, when's the next time I'm going to take pictures with 2 really beautiful cheerleaders? So I had unfortunately, I had to use my nephew as an excuse. I'm not going to lie. But they were more than happy to take pictures with both of us. So, but again, the video that I was describing, if you guys follow, just Unleashed Rebel saying Raiders, see you soon. Oh man.
You know what? Like, I love all the fans. Like, again, like I've mentioned myself, I'm a fan of fans. And then when you say Raiders, we all follow by suck. I love it. Hey, welcome to our live. I enjoy it. Let's go.
I hate to tell you this, Unleashed Rebel, but if I were you, get ready to move to that basement in the division, because you're going to be there for a very long time.
Right?
I don't care if you guys have Ashton Genty. I don't even think his strengths and what he brings to the table is going to be enough to get you guys out of that rut. And that's just in our division. You guys are more than likely going to be in competition for the number 1 draft pick for the next couple of years. Put it that way.
And remember, Pete Carroll's only a temporary solution for you guys too. And I feel like that's what Mark Davis did, is that he brought him in just to try to bring that hype back up for Vegas, but he's not going to have enough for it to happen.
I don't think so either. I honestly don't. I don't know. I don't watch anything with the Raiders, so I don't know what their media is feeding them. But the fact that they can sit there and have all the faith in the world in a guy like Geno Smith and Pete Carroll, you guys are expecting them to bring to Las Vegas from Seattle what we were expecting from Russell Wilson to bring from Seattle. Okay. Just keep that in mind, because what you guys are going to get out of Geno Smith, it's not going to be Seattle Geno Smith. It's going to be Jets Geno Smith.
And again, you guys don't have the offensive line to help Geno. And that's going to be the hard part of it for you guys. But that's going to be another story when we're actually talking about Raider Week.
Mm-hmm. I cannot wait for that. Well, it's going to lose its value by the time they play the Broncos, because the Raiders will probably more than likely be lucky to win one freaking game by then, you know?
I like this. The TikTok that I saw, it said the Kansas City Chiefs this year are going to go 0-17. And then it said the Chargers are going to go 0-17. And then it said the Raiders are going to go 0-17. But then the Broncos are going to go 17-0. As much as I would like to say that that's going to happen, but then again, it's not. Unless you guys are going to tie for the loss, that's the only way that's going to happen, since we play each other twice every year. Mm-hmm. I just thought it was funny just because of the meme of the video itself. And of course, it's just one of some of the Broncos trolls that are out there on TikTok, but it was pretty funny. Even I had some Raider fans at work and a KC fan at work come up to me and say, "Hey, did you happen to see that video that all these other teams are 0-17 and the Broncos 17-0?" I go, "You know what? I actually just saw it this morning, but yeah." I go, "I'm glad that you agree with it."
What are like some? Did you see anything at training camp besides the Alex Singleton thing, Libre, where a certain part of the team worries you, whether it's defensive, offensive, special teams, something that if you were a part of the coaching staff where you would go to Sean Payton, "Hey, I saw this, and this is where we need to really concentrate and make better"?
So the only thing that I saw on day one was Vele. He dropped a couple of good passes that were right to him, hit him right in the hands. He dropped a couple of passes, but on Saturday, he didn't drop a single pass on Saturday itself. So I just don't know if it was, he was just off on the first day of camp when fans were there. But that was the only thing. That was my right away. My only concern was Vele dropping those easy passes, but he redeemed himself on Saturday. And he did so much better. And I'm telling you right now, just looking at the team, we don't have a lot of weaknesses right now, which is scary. RJ Harvey, let me just tell you about RJ Harvey. Those guys, his thighs are massive. You saw videos, you saw pictures of it, but being able to see it in person, oh my God, this guy has these, and he's short too. So he's 5'9", 209, something like that. But he has these massive thighs. So that means that it's going to be hard trying to get him down. You're going to have to go down low and take him out from the knees below to even tackle him. Because if you're going to try to arm tackle him, it's not going to work, because the power that this kid has in his legs, he's going to break those tackles easy. And then Evan Ingram, I am so excited because of just seeing him, just watching him play here is already so exciting. I know I talked about it, yes, he's the Joker. They labeled him as the Joker during the offseason and whatnot. But being able to see him out there and actually compete on the field, like I am super excited. He might be wide receiver number 2 with receiving yards and so forth. So that's what I'm excited for because of that itself. I think he's going to be that little dark horse where it's not going to be Marvin Mims at number 2 or Pat Bryant or whatever the case may be. But I think that Evan Ingram might be the number 2 receiver on the team, even though he's the tight end. But he's going to be out there. He's going to get yards this year because he is good. He's super good. And I think this is what the defense or our offense needed for what we were missing and lacking last year. It's going to be scary good. Like Bo Nix has weapons this year. And that's the scary part. If you're going to give him these type of weapons, Bo Nix is going to break records. And I've said this before already, but being able to now see it and see them in practice, it just gives me that more excitement about it as well. So I'm super excited. I can't wait.
You know, one of those parts from that video that really resonated with me, Libre, is after the narrator got done talking about everything that went bad through the carousel of quarterbacks that the Broncos went through, from Trevor Siemian all the way down to Russell Wilson, like things in Denver were really, really bad. You know, from getting stomped by the Eagles. Remember when they were dancing on us one season when we had Brock Osweiler? And me and you have talked about this before, but the thing that really hurt was the fact that because there was no ownership, because Mr. Bolin had to step down, it kind of felt like John Elway was left at the helm to just kind of like, hey, just do the best you can type of thing. But what he was doing was not working. Actually, two things. The narrator brought up the interview where John Elway says he regrets passing up on Josh Allen over Bradley Chubb. And to that I say, we'll never know if that was actually a bad choice, because if he would have brought in Josh Allen, we do not know if Josh Allen would have able to have flourished in whatever offense we had left, because mind you, we had Vance Joseph. The only way you could make that argument was if John Elway would have gotten Kyle Shanahan and he would have gotten Josh Allen. If you put those two together, then I totally agree. That could have been a historic Broncos run in a multiverse somewhere out there. But bringing in Bradley Chubb actually paved the way to where we are now. Because in order for the Broncos to have gotten Sean Payton's services, they had to give up the draft pick that they got from the Dolphins for trading Bradley Chubb to Miami. So George Payton was a godsend. Ever since he got here from Minnesota, yes, he had a couple of missed swings. Not every GM is going to get it always right. But with him coming in and him drafting the players that we have now, your Jonathan Coopers, your Nick Bonitos, getting Zach Allen here traded, picking him up as a free agent, I'm sorry. The whole McGlinchey thing, jury's still out on that. And then the ownership coming in and making again, him trading Von Miller is something that we will always agree and disagree on. I didn't know. Supposedly the narrator said that Von was really frustrated about the team not losing, which was one of the reasons that led up to George Payton trading Von Miller. I don't know if that's true or not, but at least Von went and got his ring. And George Payton went and got the draft picks that gave us the players we have now. So it was a fair trade and on one hand. On the other hand, it'll always hurt our orange and blue hearts knowing that Von Miller, hopefully he retires as a Bronco when his time comes. But, you know, he's been a Ram. He's been a Buffalo Bill. Currently he's a Commander. So, but just that piece where he put that together, you know, George Payton and the ownership, and then them bringing in Sean Payton. And Sean Payton, even though he kind of helped Russell Wilson have the best season he's had in a long time, still convincing the owners to drop Russell Wilson and have the Broncos absorb the biggest dead cap hit in the history of the NFL. Going out and getting Bo Nix and having a season like they did last year, which should have been a freaking rebuild, but the Broncos played so well that they went to the playoffs and exceeded every analyst's expectations, including yours and mine, is unbelievable, Libre. And as you mentioned, going into year 2, giving Bo Nix the weapons he has now and assuring Courtland Sutton's going to be here for another 4 years, what you've seen out of RJ Harvey, what we're possibly going to get from Evan Ingram, year 3 of Sean Payton cooking up in his cookbook and getting Bo Nix more acclimated to his play style, you better believe he's going to give Jaden Daniels a run for his money, because Jaden Daniels is definitely going to be the quarterback to beat. I'm not really worried about Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams has struggled in camp so far, dealing with Ben Johnson. Cam Ward has struggled in camp so far. And Cam Ward's a rookie, so he has that safety net. Caleb Williams doesn't. Jaden Daniels took his team all the way to the NFC Championship, so he got them pretty far. We still don't know what we got out of J.J. McCarthy. Time will tell, because technically, even though it's his second year, it's going to be more like his freshman, his rookie. So I cannot wait to see what Bo Nix brings in year 2. I cannot wait to see what Sean Payton brings in year 3. And it is just going to be exciting any way you look at it, Libre. Offensively, defensively, I cannot freaking wait. Your mic.
What's that?
Go ahead.
All right. So going back to John Elway era, when he was the GM here, the player personnel, like you were saying, if we would have gotten Kyle Shanahan at that point and getting with Josh Allen, the problem is that John Elway and Joe Ellis at the time, when they had control of the team, when Bolin was going through when he had to step away from the team. Part of it is that I think it was really John Elway, something to do with the Shanahans. They had some type of beef going on or whatever. So, but I was agreeing with you. Instead of him going to the 49ers, he should have came here. Mm-hmm. He should have came in here. But I think because of the type of beef that they had, whatever disagreements that they had, that Elway and Joe Ellis just blackballed him here in Colorado and didn't want the Shanahans to do anything with us here in Colorado. So if they put that aside, yes, I agree with you 100%. If we would have had Josh Allen here with Kyle Shanahan, that would have been a completely different team. But if we would have gone and just gotten Josh Allen and with the offense or coaching staff that we had at that time, I would guarantee you right now, Josh Allen would not be in the league because we would have ruined him. It would have been, he would have been out either by injury or his confidence would have been gone, whatever. I feel that 100% in my whole heart that could have happened to him. But like you're saying, like once that has changed, I think that's really what changed everything. Like if we would have had that, great, but that didn't happen. And with the Bradley Chubb getting all this, and yes, that's where we're at now. This is where we're at today because of all of those decisions that happened in the past. And like you were saying, like not all GMs make the proper decisions and so forth. But again, you never know what's going to hit. It's either going to be a great signing or a bad signing. We just happened to get a bad signing when we did that with Russell. I'm just glad that now this is the final year of his contract, but that we owe him of the guaranteed money. But I'm just glad right now where we're at is going to be what's best for the team. And Bo Nix and Sean Payton is there. But you have to also think about this. This is the first time in the last 10 years that we have had a quarterback and a coach coming back for a second year. So because of that, like that already speaks volumes of how this team is going to be working out, what's good for the future of this team. So I'm super excited for that.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is now time. Libre and I have reached the end of regulation, which means we are ready to go into some overtime. My bad, Libre.
No worries. No, we're good.
misclicked
I
that,
like
bro.
that. I don't care. That's fine.
Ladies and
Oh.
gentlemen, welcome to the overtime segment of today's show. This is where Libre and I let our hair down figuratively, and we just relax and talk about anything that's going on that we want to get off of our chests. It's more than likely always not Broncos related, but if we can find a way to swing it back, we definitely will. And if you guys have any questions for us as well, you can be more than free to feel free to and ask us what's on your mind or what would you like to know more about Libre and myself. So for me, Libre, I just like it's been kind of crazy. Just for the fact that like I started streaming. I've talked to you about this.
Mhm.
I started streaming on Twitch like a while ago, and I was getting nowhere, absolutely nowhere. And I know it's hard when you start off streaming, especially video games, because when you think you're the only one playing a certain video game, you're really not. There's somebody out there playing it, unless it's something that's like really, really old and you can find a way to make it work, then, fantastic. And then one day I was on my computer and I saw that I still had the TikTok thing. This was after my main account got banned. So I started over, made a whole new one. And, once I got 50 followers, I was able to finally go and stream and live stream. So I just gave myself like, what the hell? Because supposedly, the whole thing that's going on with TikTok, it's supposed to change. I think they said in March or whatever. And I figured, what the hell? I'll try. If I can get one viewer on Twitch that watches me play something for like 2 hours, maybe I can find one on TikTok. And Animal Crossing is one of my favorite games on the Switch. So I started streaming that one day, and it has been awesome. The amount of people who have come and shown their support. Like I usually get a whole bunch of people that just stop by, and I feel like everybody does it. They click in for a few seconds and maybe see what the vibe is like, and then they leave, which is totally fine. But the fact that I got some people that actually stick around and not just watch, but also, chat and even donate, which I still feel I don't deserve. But, the fact that they're able to do that, it's just awesome. It's an awesome feeling to be able to do this. Now, again, I'm not a big streamer, and I probably never will, because I've seen other streamers that have hundreds of viewers and, and they do the fancy graphics, and they probably stream for a whole much more longer than I do.
8 to 10 hours.
Yeah, 8 to 10 hours. So, I just wanted to say on this platform how much I appreciate my Too Tall crew that always log on and watch me do damn near the same thing every night and never get tired of it. So yeah, I just wanted to say how appreciative I am of them, because without them, like I wouldn't be anywhere. So thank you.
Started
guys.
at the bottom, now you're too tall.
Down too tall. Yeah.
And that's one thing is like you never know what's going to happen, especially like how you're talking about it as well. Like you're just out there just streaming. Again, there you might get 1 or 2 views here that are like a minute, if that, like they just click on and then they're out. But then there's going to be that one person that's going to be there following. Then and they share it, they put it on there, and then it just starts growing and growing. And I feel like that's what's happened as well with Bronco Libre itself. Like I have a couple of good followers that are following me as well, and they're always on there anytime I'm on the live. So I appreciate you guys. Can't thank you guys enough. Thank you for all the supporters. So thank you guys. I appreciate that, and especially here with our Broncos talk as well, because I do know that with some of these guys that do watch our Viva Los Broncos, they're all in Spanish, and they don't know a lick of Spanish itself, but they're there supporting, always in there. like our boy D-Rock. He's there in the comments. What's happening?
Salutations.
My boy D-Rock. But it's that's pretty awesome. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say one thing that I was gonna bring up is the situation that happened at in New York with the NFL. I haven't read much into it. Just about it sounds like it was a former player going after the NFL. He went to the NFL building, but he went into the wrong elevator or whatever. Mm-hmm. I just saw a note the day after everything happened that he said he had a note in his pocket saying that he wanted his brain tested for CTE, saying that he goes, I know that I have it. And the strange thing about it is they can't test for it while you're alive. They have to go in there and dissect the brain in order to verify that you had CTE. Mm-hmm. So anybody that's out there that is having any type of mental issues, any type of like that, just for the love of God, just don't go and take out other people's lives. There's no reason for that. Like, if you're really that slim, just go and seek help. There's plenty of resources out there that is going to be able to help you out, and going out there and seek it. I know it's hard to do at times where it's you don't want to admit that that's what you need, but trust me, it's going to be better for you in the long run instead of taking lives of people, of innocent lives and so forth.
Yeah, I agree. If you guys ever feel like you need to talk to somebody, there's hotlines. Reach out to somebody. There's always somebody that will listen to you, but you have to be the first one to speak up.
Correct.
So, don't be afraid to reach out. Don't go out and do anything stupid like we've been seeing lately, because that is not good for anybody, including yourself. So if you guys ever feel like you need to talk to somebody because you have something going on in your life, some type of mental issue or whatever it is, seek help. Please do. What I was going to say is basically going back to the other point, and I'm pretty sure I've told this story before. One night when I was doing Uber, and I told my passenger that I have a podcast, because what I do most of the time is I listen to other Broncos podcasts while I'm driving. Because 90% of the time, my passengers aren't even paying attention. I let them listen to whatever they want music-wise. But if they plug in headphones or they're on their phone or what have you, then, I basically tune out myself. So he asked me, he's like, wow, you're a podcaster. You have your own podcast and stuff. Like, that must be awesome. Like, do you have any advice for me? Because he wants to start doing his own, but talking about the Chicago Bears, because he's a Bears fan. So I was like, you know what? I don't know if I'm the right person to tell you this, but 3 words, and I had it hung up in front of me when I had my room downstairs. Never give up. Mm-hmm. Because when you start out, you're going to start out at the bottom. When I did it probably at the worst time, and that was during the pandemic, when everybody was doing
it, yeah.
Just for the simple fact that was the only thing to do. So I already knew I was going to start with my back against the wall. So I bought this mic and I sat down and I told myself, you know what? I'm just going to free ball it. If I get even one person that listens to it, that's a win in itself already. And if not, then I'll just use it as practice. It didn't cost me anything really, except for what I paid for this microphone and this webcam. That's all it cost me. So, it didn't cost me anything to upload or anything. And that's why you guys always hear me be thankful to my friend Chris Hernandez, because if you go back through the Spotify and maybe even the MHRT YouTube channels probably, but on Spotify, you go back and you listen to the very first episode of this program where it was just me, before I met Johnny, before I met Mundungus, before MHRT was even created. It was just me 5 years ago. And 2 things. I sounded so nervous because I really didn't know what I was doing. I was in uncharted waters. And 2, I thought I was using this mic that I was speaking to, but I was actually using the mic on the webcam. And it sounds crappy as hell. So for the first couple of episodes, my audio was just effing terrible. And it wasn't until I linked up with Mundungus and he invited me to join MHRT. And just before we went live on our very first show, he said, hey, because he kept telling me like your audio, it sounds bad, it sounds muffled. And then he's like, "Are you using this mic or are you using the webcam mic?" And I was like, "The webcam has a mic." All I had to do was just change one setting to tell the computer, "No, use the USB mic instead of the web," and then boom. And then ever since then,
The rest is history.
The rest is history. So it's pretty embarrassing on my part, but I will admit I am not technologically savvy per se, but that's just how it begins. So if there's anybody out there that is thinking about doing anything, whether it's live streaming games or starting your own podcast, don't be afraid to try. Be afraid to succeed, because failing is easy. Anybody can fail at anything, but being successful at something and making it to whatever goals you give yourself, once you achieve them, it is like some of the best adrenaline you can ever have in your life. All right. So again, I was lucky enough to have met a bunch of great Broncos fans that I can still say are friends of mine to this day. And some people aren't that lucky. Some people are still struggling out there. So that's why I should remember to say it at the end of every stream. But, go out there and support all forms of Broncos media. Go out there and listen to them. Tell them, you're a fan of the show. Let them know that you care and show your support. It doesn't always have to be about donations in terms of monetary value. There are so many ways you can show your support. I'm not saying you shouldn't. Donating money to your favorite streamer or podcaster is amazing, because that is the best form of support, obviously. But word of mouth and telling other people about it and getting them to come and you all enjoy the content is amazing as well.
And that's why you go like, comment, subscribe, and share.
Mm-hmm.
That's another way just to be out there to support them. Whatever you're doing, just go out there, like it, comment, whatever. That helps them out tremendously. You really, a lot of people don't understand that as well. It does. So even if it's not monetary, like how he was saying, that's the ultimate goal, that to support them. But always, what's it going to cost you just to like the live or the post that they did, and then share it and then make a comment? That just helps get their content out there so it can get some more viewers out there. And that's what it is, because we want to get out there to everyone else. We want to get out there to Broncos Country. Come on, let's go like it.
Somebody in the TikTok chat, I don't know if you noticed it, Libre commented 70-20.
70-20, huh?
I'm guessing they're mocking the Miami game.
I don't think I saw that comment. I think that was on your end.
On my chat. Okay.
Yeah.
Jeremy Lee, you're right up there with the 42-8, sorry, Seahawks crowd, and I totally get it, because I say stuff to Panthers fans, same thing. So I totally get it.
Well, Cam Newton at that time made a business decision.
Yeah.
Just know that he made a business decision on himself.
But you know why that game doesn't really affect or hurt anymore, Jeremy? Because ever since that game, yes, that loss was probably the worst loss the Broncos have ever been handed to in a regular season game. But at the same time, that game served as the catalyst to what we have today.
Exactly.
And if you don't believe me, go ask the Chicago Bears, because the Bears were the very next team that they played after that game. And I know because I was there. And once Sean Payton cut off those sleeves, I don't know what happened in that locker room. The Broncos were down 3 scores going into that game. Every Bears fan around me was talking smack. And then the Broncos came out and they came back. Go watch the highlights. And ever since then, the Broncos have been going on a tear. And yes, they've lost games that they should have won, respectively, but they never let those losses get the best of them. They have not felt the way they felt since that Miami game. If anything, it has served as a catalyst, again, for the defense, for the offense, for the coaching, to say, we will never play a game and be as bad as we were in that game. So again, I know you're trying to troll,
We like it. Keep on
But-
commenting.
but keep it coming because we need that fire for the energy to burn in Broncos country. So again, thank you for that.
Gracias. Overall, it's all in good fun. We're here. Good banter. That's what we like. As long as everything is being respectful, everything's fun. We love it. Keep it that way. Keep on bringing it on. If you want to keep on reminding us of that 70-20 score, bring it on. I like it. But just know, when was the last time that Miami won a Super Bowl? Just saying. Maybe the 72 Dolphins?
How's Miami doing now?
Exactly.
How is Mike Daniels being viewed at now? Because if you're asking me about my opinion about Mike Daniels, their star wide receiver, Tyreek Hill, isn't happy. Tua Tagovailoa, in my personal opinion, probably shouldn't be playing football anymore because of his health reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And Mike McDaniels, the brainchild, the guy that looked like he was going to be the next Bill Belichick after that game, since that game, has looked completely irrelevant. And I would be as far as to say that he probably won't finish the season as the Dolphins coach. Because you mean to tell me that think about it. Miami let Vic Fangio go, one of the best defensive coordinators in the league, and he goes to Philadelphia and takes their defense, which was trash in 2023. They got stomped out by Tampa Bay. They had no business being in the wild card, and in 1 year turns it around and wins them a Super Bowl.
No, absolutely. But that's part of it. That's why, again, was it the system there? Is it Mike McDaniel? Was it him? But again, everyone doesn't they were probably butting heads. That's as possible. Didn't like what they were trying to do. So again, it's all about the system, who you're with, and right now, if you just look at the Broncos organization right now, going back to the Broncos, look at how everyone is in the building. Everyone is on the same page. Everyone is either here because they want to be or because they're wanted. And that's why they chose to be here. Prime example with Greenlaw. Greenlaw is the prime example as to I heard the story with Greenlaw what was it, this week or last week, that he grew up in the foster family, foster care itself. So not having a family, not being wanted. So when he came in and during the offseason, Sean Payton was basically saying, I want you. Well, I want you. That alone, because of his experience, when he was younger, not many people wanting him or whatever, that is part of why he came here and chose to sign with us for a lot less money than what the 49ers were going to pay him, because the 49ers wanted to pay him money to stay here. But because of Peyton saying, hey, I want you here. This is what we want you to do. This is what, and that resonated with him and said, you know what? I'm going to go here because they want me, and I'm going to give them a discount because they want me to be there, and I want to be there as well. Trust me, he's ready to play. He's going to have a great year this year, and I'm excited for that.
You know what? And since we're on the topic of clapping back per se, I'm pretty sure that this guy isn't even here, Unleashed Rebel, who said, not even close. We didn't even trade draft picks or pay $240 million for Russell Wilson. We got Geno for a third-round pick who could be just as good or better than Wilson.
You know what? Going off of that right now, you're right. But what if Geno Smith goes out there and throws a turd? That's going to happen. He might be good for you, but again, you have Brock Bowers. That's going to be there. He's the best wide receiver that you have on the team. Max Crosby on the other side, on the defensive side, he wasn't happy there for a minute. That's the only good weapon that you have, but you're going to be able to isolate him. You're going to be able to put two people on him all the time. You don't have other people on the defensive side that's going to be able to make those type of moves that are going to help cover that itself. So Max is not going to have a great year. He'll still get some of his stats, but he's not going to have a great year. And me personally, Geno Smith is also not the guy. But again, I could see why Pete Carroll wanted him, because that's his guy. He's familiar with him and he wants him there. That's part of why they did that, to get them there. But Gino is not that good, because he had that one good year once the trade happened. He only had it that good year. But then what has he done there while he was there in Seattle? He didn't do much, because the Seattle Seahawks saying, you know what, you're gone. Pete Carroll, the year before, he's like, you know what, we don't want you in here anymore. We need to go a different direction. And Geno Smith didn't do much last year. That's why he's now with Vegas, because now he's back with Pete Carroll.
Me personally, I would have went out and gotten Russell Wilson again before I would have traded for Geno for a 3rd round pick, because I know Rebels trying to make it sound like getting Geno for a 3rd round was like
the best thing ever.
The best thing to happen. But you guys ran through Jimmy Garoppolo like he wasn't nothing.
Yeah.
Okay. And he's a 2-time Super Bowl champ, but he played behind Tom Brady. Doesn't matter. The man damn near won a Super Bowl. If he had a little bit more arm strength and hit my boy Emmanuel Sanders, there's 49ers become Super Bowl champions that game. And that was with Kyle Shanahan. Garoppolo did not struggle with the ball offensively getting to that Super Bowl. He just dealt with injuries, obviously. But he goes to Las Vegas, and he's a shell of himself. And he just basically showed and exposed himself as to saying how it was much more Kyle Shanahan that made him look fantastic versus who was the coach at the time? Was it Josh McDaniels?
Yeah, so, McDummy.
Yeah, McDummy. So, yeah, you guys are going to be crying. All right. We had a reason to cry and complain, because we've already admitted on the show. Yeah, it was the biggest mistake, second biggest mistake in NFL history, right behind the Deshaun Watson debacle. And if it wasn't for Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson would be number 1. But you guys traded a 3rd round pick for Geno when you could have went and gotten Sam Darnold, who was a free agent. You could have went and gotten Russell Wilson when you heard he wasn't going to stay. You could have gotten Justin Fields. You could have made a play for any one of those quarterbacks. Either one of those 3 quarterbacks could have given you a better chance than Geno Smith. All right. Now, granted, I've already had my doubts about Sam Darnold going to Seattle. I don't think he's going to flourish there. I think he's going to flounder and struggle because, again, he's showing up to Seattle without Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison. Okay. But I'll give you the benefit of the doubt that saying that Geno Smith could be as good as Russell Wilson, but I can't say that he would be better than Russell Wilson, because Russell Wilson has won a Super Bowl and Geno Smith has not. And as far as I'm concerned, he probably never will.
He won't.
As long as he's a Raider.
Now
he could probably go to another team and be the backup and get carried, like was it Chad Henne, who won with the Chiefs, and who's the other one? Oh, well, I guess you can put Garoppolo in that boat because he played behind Tom Brady. He got carried to 2 Super Bowls. So there's always that one. Brock Osweiler won a Super Bowl in 2015 playing behind Peyton Manning, but Brock Osweiler did play some, and he did win some games before.
Well, no, he was crucial that year. The 2015 season, he was crucial. Mm-hmm. It was the same thing with Bubby Brister when in the last year of the season for John Elway. Mm-hmm. He was crucial for us winning games because they're in there 5-6 games in that during the season, and they played pivotal roles. One of the biggest ones, especially with Brock Osweiler, was against the Patriots. That the Blizzard game, when C.J. Anderson went to the left for 50 yards for the touchdown, he was the quarterback for that game itself. So that's something that you have to have a good backup. And right now, like with going back to training camp, Jarrett Stidham is going to be a great backup for us. I can't wait for it. Like he's there. He's going to be, if we need him at any point, I'm not going to have any. Just watching him, just those 2 days that I was there, it's going to be okay. Like it's the Broncos already have that mentality, the next man up. And you can already see that within the way that they practice. And even with Stidham out there knowing that he's a backup, he's going out there and practicing like he's a starter. And that's what you have to go out there and do.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is going to do it for our overtime segment of today's show. Libre and I would like to say thank you to everybody in the chat. Mahai City, baby, thank you so much. D-Rock, Shy Vargas, Unleash Rebel, even you came in and contributed. So thank you for
Welcome. Thank you.
that. Bronco Libre's cousin, Juan Marquez.
Put him up.
Fanatic Dak, I know I saw you in here and in the TikTok chat as well. And I believe that's it. And of course, our friends over at Broncos World Order who kicked off the festivities in the chat. Thank you guys so much for being here with us live. Thank you guys for watching us, all the viewers at home, to our fans on TikTok chat. If there's anybody left, thank
It
you
looks
so
like
much.
I have two. Thank you guys.
I
Appreciate
think
you guys.
I have two as well. Thank you guys for sticking around with us. Just to quickly reiterate a couple of things for you guys, please make sure you show your support for us here on the Orange and Blue Network. Subscribe, share, comment, and like on this and all of your favorite shows here on the channel. Your support is greatly appreciated. Also, on the MHRT Network, please subscribe, share, comment, and like on this show and all their shows on their network as well. Ladies and gentlemen, please keep in mind that we are sponsored by Dubby, so please make sure you use the code NRWOB10 to get your 10% off at checkout. Again, that code is NRWOB10 for your 10% off at checkout. Shout out to Dubby and to our friends over at the Nothing Rhymes with Orange and Blue podcast for hooking you up for the 10% off. Audio listeners, please make sure you give us 5-star reviews. Are pretty much appreciated. If you want to send a screenshot and send it to our socials, we'll be more than happy to shout you guys out. My TikTok handle is at the Twitch handle is at a 6'10" Mexican. It's technically the same thing almost. And Bronco Libre is at Bronco Libre 5280. For any business inquiries, you can email at broncostalk2020@gmail.com. Ladies and gentlemen, please make sure you catch us this Friday for the return of Viva Los Broncos at 6 o'clock Mountain, 7 Central, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Again, that is an only Spanish show, so please keep that in mind when you tune in, and don't think that your SAP button is broken or anything, because we were talking a different language. Also, shout out to Broncos World Order. We are now powered and sponsored, and we are so proud to be part of the Broncos World Order family. Shout out to them for their continued support.
BWO. Let's
And
go.
for the longtime partnership. They are ready to ride with Broncos Country, and so are we. I have my cup over there. I can't reach it, but, Let's Ride is still very popular in Denver. I don't give a damn.
No, it's not.
My cup says so that's what it is.
That's because you're in Chicago now. That's why.
Please make sure to continue to support all forms of Broncos media and podcast shows out there. Ladies and gentlemen, we will see you next Wednesday with another update from Bronco Libre at training camp, and we will bring you all the up-to-date Broncos news. He's Bronco Libre. I'm Adan Diaz, and this has been Broncos Talk here on the Orange and Blue and MHRT Network. So with that, we say good night, good evening, and as always, go Broncos!
Go Broncos! Let's
Woo!
go! Woo!